Have you ever known anyone who has requested to have their physician help them die? Do you know anyone that suffers from a terminal illness and has a number of days to live? These may seem like extreme questions, but they will make more sense towards the end of this speech. I want to talk about physician-assisted suicide and explain why we need to have it legalized throughout the United States. I'm going to explain what physician-assisted suicide is, how it works, and the importance of physician-assisted suicide. Let's start by talking about what physician-assisted suicide is. A physician-assisted suicide is when a patient receives help from a physician to commit suicide. Now, before I lose all of you and making it sound like I support suicide in general, I want to clarify that I do not. I only support physician-assisted suicide in terminally ill patients, not people with common cold or depression or tummy ache, stuff like that. It needs to be serious illnesses, terminal illnesses, and chronic pain that cannot be treated. There are currently 5 states that have a form of legalized physician-assisted suicides. Those states include Oregon, Washington, Vermont, Montana, and New Mexico. Restrictions vary from state to state. In Montana, a 2009 court ruling established that there is no law against physician-assisted suicide. But it is not a guaranteed right to carry it out, according to Acker Sarah and Michelle Nicole from Salem Press Encyclopedia of Health. It's important to understand the difference in physician-assisted suicide and emphysema, or enthusia. Let's also talk about how a physician-assisted suicide works and what euthanasia, what it is. There are 2 forms of physician-assisted suicide. One form requiring that the physician complete the entire process is called euthanasia. Euthanasia usually entails that the caregiver give the patient a lethal injection, similar to the same shots they use to carry out death penalties. Now, I'm not trying to confuse this with capital punishment. It's a whole separate deal, but the same formula. Enthusia usually entails being called like a mercy killing. It's generally referred to give someone like a less painful way to die. According to Funk and Wagnall's New World Encyclopedia, physician-assisted suicide occurs when a physician provides medication or prescription to help a patient commit suicide. Euthanasia and physician-assisted suicide are similar in the fact that the patient is helped with their suffering. But the difference is that euthanasia is when the physician is the one that ends the patient's life. Physician-assisted suicide is when the patient uses a tool that the caregiver or medical provider gives them in order to end their own life. Now that you understand what the difference is, you are ready to take action. We need to take action to give patients the right to decide their own fate. To clarify, I want to start a movement to have a physician-assisted suicide legalized for people who have been given 6 months or less to live, or suffer from chronic pain that cannot be treated with any form of medication or treatment. Government should not have the right to prohibit people from dying with dignity. I read an inspiring story written by Carrington Stern on the OdysseyOnline.com. This story is about a 29-year-old woman diagnosed with terminal brain cancer named Brittany Maynard. She battled long and hard with her disease, but ultimately decided to end her life with pills she obtained through a doctor. Because of the option she had to have a physician help, she was able to spend her final moments with her loved ones. So many times, family members live hours away and have no way to spend time with loved ones during their final moments. Michael H. White is the past president of Americans for Death with Dignity, writes in 13.org article, "Before I Die, a more rational law than the current ban on assisting a terminally ill patient who requests help in dying will extend the length of lives of those who are dying by preventing the suicide of those who will benefit from relieved suffering." I've also talked about the difference between physician-assisted suicide and euthanasia. You now know the importance of changing our current policy and the impact it has on current individuals suffering from terminal illness or chronic pain. It is up to us as voters and Americans to change this policy.